Good day, grade 7 students. How are you today? Okay, that's good to hear. I hope you are all excited for our new lesson today. But first, please all stand and let's begin this day by a short prayer. Amen. Before we start, please pick up the pieces of paper under your chairs and put them in a garbage bin, as well as any other trash you find, and keep all the things that have nothing to do with our subject. Okay? Say present as I call your name. Okay. Congratulations, none of you are absent. Before we proceed to discussion, let's play a game. I'm going to show you some flashcards and I want you to read every word aloud, but pay close attention to the first letter of each word. Okay, let's start. Alone, lost, love, overcoming, vision, experience, relationship, transformation, hope, empathy, war, outreach, relating, longing, and determination. Okay, class, what word were formed using the first letter? Okay, very good. By using these words, the game encourages you to think about the story's themes on a personal level, connecting them to our own experience and understanding. So class, did you enjoy the game? Based on the activity that you observe, what do you think is our lesson for today? Okay, very good. Have you heard this story of All Over the World by Vicente Rivera Jr. before? So let's find out today. But first, kindly read our lesson objectives. At the end of the lesson, the students will be able to define tone, mood, technique, and purpose of the author. Number 2, appreciate the importance of the lesson through participation. 3, write a summary of a short story that includes the tone, mood, technique, and purpose of the author. So, class, what is tone? Tone tells us how the author thinks about his or her subject. It is the author's attitude toward this story and the reader. And also, the tone influences the story's mood or atmosphere. Next, we have mood. In literature, mood is a literary element that evokes certain feelings or vibes in readers through words and descriptions. It is the feeling that the reader gets from a story, like for instance, happy, sad, or romantic. Next is technique. The author's writing style, including literary devices like symbolism, imagery, simile, metaphor, and personification. It is the specific literary devices or methods an author uses to achieve their tone and mood. Next, we have the author's purpose. Authors write for many purposes. The three main purposes they write are persuasion, informative, and entertainment. Number 1 is to inform, to give information about a subject. So, the author aims to teach the reader about a specific topic, providing facts, data, and explanations. Second, to entertain, amuse and delight, to appeal the reader's senses and imagination. So, the author's primary goal is to provide enjoyment for the reader. This can be achieved through humor, suspense, adventure, or emotional connection. Think of novels, poems, plays, or movies. 3. To persuade is to convince the reader to agree with the author's point of view on a subject. So, the author wants to convince the reader to agree with their viewpoint or take a specific action. This often involves presenting arguments, evidence, and appeals to emotions. Think of editorials, advertisements, or political speeches. So, before we proceed to this story, let's get to know the author. Kindly please read. Okay, thank you. He has also won several prizes in a short story and has had a novel serialized in a woman's magazine and who threatens to win the 1957 Palanca Award in a short story. After writing for several years, Vicente Rivera Jr. died in 1999 in Houston, Texas. Okay, class, read the first paragraph of the story. Okay, thank you. Felix, a young guy who's just started first job in Manila, decided to go to the movies one night. He was 21 years old and after the movie, he walked home alone, enjoying the quiet and empty streets. As he was walking, he saw a girl named Maria sitting on a bench reading a book. Maria was only 11 years old and she was reading Felix's favorite movie, which is the Greek myths. Felix wanted to talk to her, but Maria was really shy. She wouldn't say much, so Felix decided to be kind. He let Maria borrow his book so she could finish reading it. Next, read the second paragraph, class. Okay, thank you. So, Felix and Maria kept seeing each other around their neighborhood. They started saying hello and slowly they became friends. One day, Maria was waiting for Felix to return his book. This time they talked for a while. Felix learned that Maria lived with her uncle Lucio. It was sad to hear that Maria's parents had passed away and her sister had moved to the countryside with her own family. Even though Maria was still quiet, Felix felt a connection with her. He knew she was going through a lot, but he was glad they are becoming friends. Read the last paragraph, class. Okay, thank you. Felix and Maria were becoming good friends, but then something terrible happened. World War II broke out. It was a scary time and lots of people had to leave their homes to stay safe. Felix's family decided to move to a different place called Singalong to escape the war. When Felix finally went back to the Maria's house, he saw a volunteer there. The volunteer asked if Felix was looking for someone. Felix knew right away what had happened. Maria and her uncle had already left to find a safe place too. The war tore them apart. They didn't have a chance to say goodbye, which made it even harder. Felix was heartbroken that he couldn't see Maria anymore. He hoped they would meet again someday, but he didn't know when or if would that happen. So, I'm sure you have an idea of the story. Now, what moral did you learn from the story entitled All Over the World? Anyone? Okay, very good. All Over the World shows how war hurts children. Felix and Maria's friendship is happy, but war separates them. This reminds us that war affects real people, not just abstract bonds. It's important to remember this and to value our friends and the good times we share. So, for the word work, on a one-fourth sheet of paper, answer the following questions with T for true and F for false. Ensure your answers are clearly written and legible. And as your assignment, give three examples each of an author's purpose, which is to persuade, to inform, and to entertain. Okay, class, that's all for today. Thank you for listening.